This is the extended audio description for Ahead of the Curve. Throughout this video, extended and standard audio description will be used. The film is narrated by Daniel Cockburn, a white man in his mid-40s with dark straggly hair and beard. He wears thick-rimmed glasses. He is glimpsed occasionally, often at the edge of the picture frame or in close-up. An overhead projector light. Below is an image of woods displayed on the glass of the overhead projector. Ahead of the curve. Part 1. The Machine.
People said that I claimed to have invented a time machine. And then they accused me of lying.
Screen grab of tweet. At Stationary Traveller. You're a fraudulent loser.
Just one more example of the dangers of misquoting, of taking out of context. I never said I'd invented a time machine. Obviously, I didn't invent a time machine. I found a time machine.
Photos of cherry pickers.
This isn't it.
A fly squashed on a laptop spacebar.
This isn't it either.
Hand holding a computer hard drive. A palm with faint penned writing.
None of these are it. But it is sort of a combination of these things. I knew it wouldn't be worth trying to explain. I found a code in the world, and when I unscrambled it, voila, I had a time machine. And no, I'm not going to share the details. The point is, I found it, and I used it. Remember, this was 2021. We were restricted both by the legal empowered will of the state and by basic human decency. It's funny when those two things overlap. We were restricted from leaving our homes.
A controlled zone sign seen through an ajar window. A wet handprint smudge on a counter. Garlic in a roasting pan. The following section includes a number of screen grabs of texts, messages, and notifications. Image of drink group chat notification. You're now an admin. Text message. It's weird not having you in the future. iPhone home screen. Email icon showing 666 unread emails. Message. I am hoping for a trip to Redacted soon and would love to hear more about you burning to death. Text message. How can I delete this text? Never mind, I got it. Text message. Light bulb emoji. Optimism. Question mark denoting unknown emoji. Notification. Redacted. Removed a heart from an image. Notification. You laughed at Jesus. Screen grab. 134 steps. Fire emoji. Text message. And remember, downloading. Screen grab. No safe space specified. Fingers playing a synthesizer keyboard. A YouTube video featuring a screen-grabbed tweet.
So apparently the tritone interval was once banned in the church because it referenced the devil.
A music video overlaid with a no music sign.
A time, the tritone was seen as being of the devil by Catholics and was banned.
An orchestra overlaid with a no music sign.
While defending 9th century, the tritone was
Fingers on the synthesizer keyboard. Text typed into a search engine. Can COVID give you tinnitus? Tinnitus UK website. Tinnitus and COVID-19 FAQs. A mouse pointer clicks through various questions on the FAQ page. The pandemic really affected my tinnitus. Was it just me? The back of Daniel's head. He turns to reveal his left ear, then his right. A finger presses a key on the synthesizer keyboard. Text typed into a search engine. Okay, that is enough of that.
Fortunately for me, lockdown was a purely spatial restriction. Nobody said anything about not traveling through time. So you can imagine my relief when I found the time machine. Now, I didn't know when I would be traveling to. I didn't really know how to work it all that well. So I didn't even know whether I was going forward or backward, to the future or the past. All I knew was that I'd be getting out of the house. Parenthetical. And that was enough. End parenthetical.
A photograph of vibrant red flowers sits on a window frame beside a vase of dried dead flowers. Vertical lines, shadows, gently dance on the window. Close up to the window, a speck is visible. It almost glows. Blue numbers at the end of a tunnel, 2021 reenactment. The year displayed begins to decrease rapidly. The blue light of the numbers illuminate the tunnel. The numbers move closer through the tunnel as they decrease. The numbers stop at 1347. 1347 comes closer, blurs out of focus. A drawing of bodies piled up. Captioned artist's rendering. Drawings depicting death on a horse. Bodies piled up.
Okay, so how was I supposed to know that 1347 was the year the bubonic plague broke out?
A coloured drawing of a plague doctor. A painting of bodies piled high. In the woods, Daniel holds his forehead.
Oh, for God's sake.
Daniel, visible from the neck up, begins walking. He is surrounded by trees. Text on screen reads, Actual footage, 1347. Daniel turns the camera around to reveal a forest. A whiteboard. Daniel draws a diagram of his route through the woods. He draws a red circle with a black arrow pointing forward. He draws a green block. He adds a black squiggly line to the tip of the arrow, moving through the green block. He draws a blue flowing line. Daniel extends the black line, now straight, and follows the blue line. Daniel erases the black line, stopping at the squiggle. He redraws the black line, curving away from the blue line. At the end of the black line, he draws a red circle.
Yeah, that village was no good. I just got out of there and went into the woods. There was a forest really close by, luckily, so I went into it. I got confused, just sort of, went this way and that way for a bit. And then after a bit, I realized that there was a river that ran through the forest. And for a second, I thought I should follow the river. That'll get me where I need to go. And I thought, I don't know where I need to go. All I know is that a river is likely to lead to people, and I want to stay away from people. So I didn't follow the river. Where I came up to the river, there was a sort of a curve in it, and I just turned off before I came to that curve. And that's where I found the cabin.
Daytime. The woods. The light of the sun through the trees fills the screen. The light subsides. An image of Woods projected onto the whiteboard. Daniel's head in profile, Woods projected over him.
Okay, I should say I wasn't going to be recording anyone without their consent. That's why I didn't get any footage of the village, any footage of the sick people. Because really, even if I did get their consent, how informed could the consent of a 14th century citizen really actually be? How much is some medieval person really going to understand the phrase, all media in perpetuity throughout the universe? So I opted not to record any people, visually or sonically. I don't know, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I want to tell you about the cabin, and who was in it, and what she had to say to me. I'm just not going to show her to you, or let you hear her voice. And I'm not going to show you her cabin, either, because, for some people, their dwelling is an extension of who they are. And I didn't feel I had the right to capture that, either. But it was right around here.
Daniel holds a red pen. He draws the outline of a cabin with a door and window. The projector turns off. The cabin outline remains on the whiteboard. Part 2. The Cabin Dweller's Tale, as told to me by the Cabin Dweller. On-screen text of The Cabin Dweller's Tale will be heard as extended audio description throughout Part 2, with performed readings of that section to follow. About the homes where the death has most recently struck, there arises sometimes a violet mist, near to the ground, mainly seen at dawn. Parenthesis, she said. Some say this mist to be a soulful remnant of the departed afflicted, indication of the sick one's spirit having either ascended or gone down. But I see reason to postulate an overabundance of the humours, such as we already know to collect in the pustulant buboes that are the surest sign of plague. Parenthesis, she went on. I believe these ill humours are released from the body when it gives up the ghost, and settle in the environs such that the sun's early rays illumine them in particular violet hue. Parenthesis. Here she paused. Parenthesis. Then continued. I suggested to my master that he cancel his planned feast, for fear the mist might move invisibly amongst the guests. He struck me about the head with such force my ears still ring. So I left the village. Here will I stay, alone I hear, the bells in my ears my only companions, until the death has passed over this land. I pray you come no closer. Stay out of my home, sit you still under the nearby tree. We can continue to speak across this distance. We can sing each to the other, if it pleases.
I can't sing. So she sang, and I listened.
Printed image of woods overlaid with projection of Daniel walking through woods.
People ask what her music sounded like. And I understand the question, but... Okay.
Daniel draws a diagram, exactly the same as the diagram of his route through the woods. The diagram begins with a small red circle, a green block like the woods, a blue line like the river.
Take a point in human history, any point, and from any point in history, we are all together going forward into the unknown. And history has its little confusions, its little snarls, but generally it is going forward. We are all going forward together. But sort of underneath this, there's like this tributary, this current that is like the unconscious, or all the ideas, the understandings in human history yet to be discovered. A river of potential. And every once in a while, and this is normal, every once in a while, history will meet up with the tributary. At some point, our actions meet up with the current of potential, and we follow that new path. And that's what's called progress. But that's not always what happens. Because every once in a while, somebody makes their own turn, takes an exit ramp that's separate to the main current, and in making that turn, they make a discovery. And then that is the path that our shared history follows. But what if, every once in a rare while, there's someone who finds that exit ramp and takes it and makes a discovery that points to a new path, but for one reason or another, no one hears about it, it never gets shared with the rest of us. And so we just follow the river. And we never get to hear what her music sounded like, and we never know what was up here in this part of the woods.
Daytime, a forest. Violet-tinged smoke begins to rise. The smoke dissipates. The image of the woods on the glass of an overhead projector. A light clicks off into darkness. Ahead of the curve. Daniel Cockburn, 2024. Music, Daniel Goddard. Keyboard music by Daniel Cockburn. Supervising producer, Stephen Bode. Credits. Produced with the assistance of Queen Mary University of London. Commissioned by Film and Video Umbrella. Logos, FVU. Supported using public funding by Arts Council England. Funded by UK Government.